Hello everyone, Chris here. So today I thought I'd run through some of my ACC settings, and some of the programs I run alongside ACC when I'm racing and streaming, and why. So first and foremost, just to give you a guide, I'm 26 inches from my nose to the monitor to give you an idea of distance. So the first thing we can do, let's go into let's return back to Garage. Video settings. I run a 34-inch ultra wide. Okay, I disable window mode, full screen, and have it in window mode to run some of my overlays, which you see. Okay, I fixed my monitor at 120 Hz. Now I run a 3070 GPU, and then viewing distance as high as possible. Shadows high, shadow distance medium, contact shadows enabled. Then I had DLSS on, set to quality, but I have the sharpness turned off. Then effects high, post-processing high, foliage high, texture high, mirror quality high, mirror frames 60 FPS, then resolution high, and I have it fixed at 20 cars. Now these settings are set. I run an i7 700K CPU, and the reason my settings are set as they are is for when I'm streaming. If I wasn't streaming, I can actually up these a little bit. So material quality high, bloom quality high, foliage fog high, foliage load quality high, car load quality 100%. Then we go through to HLOD and advanced sharpen filter, both disabled and enabled. Motion blur disabled. Saturation 100%. White balance natural. Camera dirt effect 1. Image contrast 0.5. Exposure gain 0.4. Tone mapping on default. So they're my video settings in game. Now, if I just get in car a minute and go to my view settings, there you go, and there's my view settings. So height 0.1, lateral 0, distance 6.0, field of view 47, and pitch 0. Lock to horizon 33%, movement 100%, dash cam factor 0, and all these dashboard display off. That's all like this part down here. Mirror field of view 90, scale 15, horizon offset 0. Don't have any of them on and that on. Now bear in mind with your camera settings, I did use a field of view calculator and then adjusted to what I was comfortable with. So if you went to calculate, I think this would be slightly different, but this is what I'm happy with, and ultimately that's where it should be. Then we get onto some of the apps. So I run a couple of different apps, one for me, one for streaming. So the apps I have running is this one here. I think I'm going to try and say Armentario. Now there is a load of stuff you can have on here. Okay, now I try and keep my screen as clear as possible. I feel like you can have too much on it and too much information. So this one here is mainly used because I link it to OBS. So within my OBS, if you look just above my picture, you'll see my inputs. Okay, so if I actually out on track now, okay, you can see them. Now, bear in mind that where you can see it up here at the moment, you wouldn't normally see that because I normally capture the game and not the screen. So this would normally be hidden from yourself. The other one I run is over here. This is again for for yourselves when you're watching. So that information lets you know if we're in a practice, quali, or a race, what time of day the race is on, what temperature it is, just to give you a bit of information on the race itself. Then for myself, I then have race Acc Drive. Now this is great for endurance racing. If you're working in teams, you can create or join a session. Your teammates can then join with you, and that will allow you to, let me see if I can find it on here. I don't do this unless I'm in an actual race. Strategy, here we are. So what you can do, you can change the temperatures here, and it will adjust whoever's driving MFD. So it actually flick through this like this, okay, and it'll change all this. It'll do it for them, and they'll physically see it happening. But you have to be in that same session. Where I find it useful in single player is fuel calculator, which then relates to this part down here as well. So this will tell me the stint of me, my driver stint, how much fuel I got left in time, which is great to relate to the top of the screen, what the track condition is, and then obviously damage, time, optimal time, time left of the race. Then if you actually go into Acc Drive after you've done some laps, let's say practice laps, you can go to fuel calculator. You can put in, let's say it's an hour race, but my stint is 65 minutes. Let's just up it more. How many extra laps do I want to build into my fuel calculation? Okay. Is there a mandatory stop? And then what I do, this fuel per lap here, this is actually based off your real data and not what the game says you should be using. And it will give you an accurate amount of fuel you need to use. So you actually get your fuel calculation correct to what you're using. And I find that one of my most helpful tools when racing, and it's one of the first apps I open up before I race. So anyway, I hope that gives you some ideas where to start, especially if you're new to the game. I have not run through any of my false feedback settings, ultimately being we all use different wheels, different bases, different strengths, different preferences, and what I would show you here might be completely different than what you like anyway. So again, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you next time.